Hello, class. I'm creating this video because some of you had issues with the documentation that I'm asking for your assignments. Okay, so hopefully this little video can clarify some of the issues that you may have been having. Okay, first of all, let's go over what it is I'm asking you to do. All right. So if we go to our course and we go to, and I'll go to program 2. All right. If I can find it, go to program 2 documentation. Now, in here, it says program documentation. And hopefully I want you to do it in Microsoft Word so that you can upload it and I can grade it. It says, please have document contents listed in the following order, starting with or starting each listed item on a new page. What's the listed items? The cover page, statement of the problem, name and content of the source code, a screenshot of your program's output, the name and content of the header file, the name and content of all input files, the name and content of all output files, and then your data dictionary, each starting on a new page. Now, a hint about the new page, after each page, you just should hit Control Enter, and it'll create a hard return, and it'll force everything to start on a new page. If you just hit the Enter key to try to go down to eliminate all the blanks to get to a new page, when you open it up in a different application, the line spacing might be different, or the font sizes of the default might be different, which might move your information up. So use the hard return. And that's using the Control Enter key in Word. Now, the cover page. Let's look at the cover page, what I'm asking for. All right, and I'll just list this. And this is a sample program. The cover page. The cover page, name of the program, the which of the assignment, program assignment 2, or whatever I give you as the program name, the course number, the instructor's name, the programmer, which is yourself, and the date. Now, whatever order that's in, as long as I have that information, I know who it is, I'm satisfied. You just choose to design it, don't have any issues with that. If you do, great. All right. Or if you don't, it's great. Now, so that's the cover page. After the cover page, you should have a new page. This information should not be on the same page as the cover. So after you type your date, Control Enter, and then I want you to list the statement of the problem. In this program, the statement of the problem, and in any program, is exactly what I gave you or have given you to do. Do not try to reword it. Do not try to rearrange it or whatever. Just give it to me back exactly like it was given to you. You don't want to have to keep changing it or rewording it. Then somebody else take it, change it, reword it, and then all of a sudden you may be taken away from the meaning. So you just keep the original. Give me what was asked. And that includes the actual formatting of the maybe an input file and even the formatting of the output. All right. So all that's important. Even the notes. All right. This says note. All dollar amounts should be displayed with 2 decimal places. That's important. That's a part of the statement of the problem, something that you have to do in the assignment. So just give me back exactly what I gave you. That's what I want. Everything that's with the statement of the problem, everything you needed to do the assignment, all the instructions. Now, that's the second one. Control Enter. Now, the source code. The source code, all right? Here you have the name of the source code, a sample name, grocerylist.cpp. and then the content. Notice the content went to a new page, but then what? The next step, the screenshot should begin on a new page. Control N at the end of this. So if we look at this, here we have the source code. It's not a screenshot. They copied and pasted that information. Many of you, what you may do is you do a screenshot, and then all of a sudden I cannot see, it's so small that I cannot see the code, or I'm fighting to look to understand what's in your code. So, and then I have to resize the window, and it distorts the information. So do a copy and paste it where it's actual text. All right. So I can go through the text and look at it and see what's going on in the program. All right. After that, then with the output, I would want you to screenshot it, because it's a DOS screen, and you can't really say copy, select it and copy it. So uh, here's the header file, which some of you all are not doing, the header file, and then some of you all are putting the header file information in the actual CPP program, which is not what I asked for. I want it in a external file, and that file loads into the program, and then you call that function from the header file. So you see here we have the header file that was called. We have the execution of the program where you're inputting the values, and then here you would see the output. Okay, so sometimes depending on your screen size or the size of your fonts, you may have to do more than one screenshot. Well, you might have to screenshot up to here, and then maybe then screenshot the second part, and you may have two screenshots. But I want to see all of the information. All right. Then, like I say, Control Enter, and then you're on a new page, which you would list your header file. Header file, normally we just let it default when we're creating it in a visual as header.h, because that's the only one we normally create. And this is the header file. Header file, you would have, you would definitely have IO stream. Now you can load vectors in the header file and IOMAN IP to format your numbers. And then when you call the header.h, it automatically have the IO stream and the IOMAN IP and the vector library is loaded, so you don't have to do it again in the main program. All right. And this is the function within the header file that you would be calling. And if you notice here, they call in head, and head is a valid function to be called because we loaded it through header.h. All right, which is this is the contents of header.h, which would be you, the programmer, the name of the course, the programming assignment name, and my name and the date. All right. And then, like I say, they just put some spaces to separate the header from the actual output content. Now, Control Enter. Some of you all, for input file, you gave me a copy of the code that actually read in the data from the keyboard. This program did not have an input file. All the data was inputted from the keyboard. So you would just simply put no input file. This program, and then like I say, Control Enter. This program did not have an output file. We had output, but the output was written to the screen. So we didn't have data that was written to a file where we can go back and look at it again. Once we ran our program and looked at our output, it was gone for good once we left it. All right. So we didn't have an output file. Output was written to the screen. Now, after that, Control Enter. Now is your data dictionary. Your data dictionary will consist of all user-defined variables, all right, or identifiers, all right? So now, in looking at this, we have our main function, and the variables should be listed grouped by the function. Now, how many functions do we have in this CPP file? We have main, which is the function that's always used in the C++ file, and we have the calc underscore DG. Now, the thing is, we also have this head function, but this head function came from this header file, which was a loaded header file. All right. So, but in our main function, we call this function. So what? In main, I got head, which is a function. All right. And what? It's a header file. All right. And you could put header file, which displays programmer's info. You know, you could be a little more descriptive if you choose to. Then we have a vector that was declared, and that vector was vec QNT. Vec QNT was the data type, int data type, and its usage, vector that holds an int. And it could be a vector that holds the quantity of whatever, because that was the quantity. All right. Then we got a vector of double called vec cost. And vec cost was a what data type? Double. And what? Vector that holds the a double. But if you want to be more specific, vector that holds the cost of an item. All right. So you can be descriptive if you choose to. All right. So look here, cost, which was another one. Look, well, quantity represents the quantity of an item. Cost represents the cost of an item. Which what? You read in quantity, QNTY, and cost, and it was what? You did a pushback to put it in the perspective vectors. All right. So that's what was happening. But in doing so, you wrote a function that used what? The variable index, int index. So index was introduced in the main function, and it was controlling the loop. All right, counter that controls the loop. Then what? We had const int size, and size was the size of our vector. All right, and so we got size, and what's the data type? It was int, but it was constant. It represents the number of items or the maximum size of the vector. All right, either way you want it to go. All right. But then in here we was calling calc GD. So all right, DG. But then look, calc DG is a function, and if we look down here, this is the function. All right. And then what? Calc DG, we have what? We introducing two new variables, vec underscore QNT and vec underscore cost. All right, vec underscore QNT, QNTY is of int, and vec underscore cost is of double. So this is incorrect. That should be double. All right. So it'd have been a double, and I'll change that. And then you have your loop counter, and it was index, and index is int, and it controlled the loop. So you notice index was used in the main to control that loop. I use it there. Index was also used in calc DG, and I listed it in there. So within each function, you're gonna list all of the user-defined variables. All right. So that's basically what it is you to do to give me my documentation for each program. Now, as the programs progress, we may have more functions. We may have input files. We might have output files and input files. So like I say, your documentation would change depending on what's the specifications for the assignment, okay? So make sure that you review this video, follow it. If you got any questions, you could reach out to me. But like I said, hopefully you can look at this, and this will give you pretty much a good guide as to what it is I'm looking for in my documentation. Now, grant you, you can't do the documentation before you complete the assignment because what? You got to give me the right source code. You got to give me the right output, screenshot of your output, and things of that nature. So, and then you have to make sure what the variables that you maybe add or take away once you modifying it is actually what it is. So you have to make sure you get the program done and then get your documentation done in a timely manner. So hopefully this will help you in doing your assignment. So like I say, reach out to me if you have any questions.